There's an old radio in my kitchen, dust on the dial. Morning news humming low, another distant mile. They say the world's on fire somewhere west of here. Same thin line of worry that runs through every year. I sit at the window watching wind press the trees. Wonder if it matters what's out there or what's in me. In the quiet hours when the headlines fade away, I light a small candle just to keep the dark at bay. Heavy hearts and hollow prayers, still it won't erase. In these quiet hours, I hold my ground and stay. Photos of my father tucked behind the cracked old glass, hands stained from working, watching all the seasons pass. He told me man's endurance is a river running slow. Sometimes I catch myself thinking he still might know. Birds cross the silence, cutting straight through the sky. Guess we keep on moving, even when we wonder why. In the quiet hours when the headlines fade away, I light a small candle just to keep the dark at bay. Words collect like autumn leaves, scattered and misplaced. In these quiet hours, I find my own small grace. Sorrow I can't show, the grief no voice can tell. But here beneath the ceiling fan, there's peace as well. Quiet hours stretching on, wind against the pane. All the world's commotion can't wash away this pain. In the quiet hours when the headlines fade away, I light a small candle just to keep the dark at bay. Threads of hope unraveling, yet I sing anyway. In these quiet hours, I hold the dawn at bay. Just me in the hush before the day. It's quieter now, the air moves slow. Fingers trace the edge of your sweater on a chair. You look away just as long enough for night to create the words we don't say. It's not about the past or what we think we've lost. It's how the light shifts quietly when we both pause. If you breathe in, I'll breathe out. Let the silence hold us without doubt. No need for answers, just stay close now. I hear your heart, even when it's not loud. We're spinning the daylight, letting it rest. You drum your fingers soft, uncertain and shy. I reach for what's left between us. a gentle sadness that softens inside. Nothing left to tell, no wishes on the shelf, but there's beauty in these hours we wear so well. If you breathe in, I'll breathe out. Let the silence hold us without doubt. No need for answers, just stay close now. I hear your heart, even when it's not loud. Outside there's wind, moving the trees, but here with you I find some peace. Every goodbye finds room to begin. In this hush we let new days in. If you breathe in, I'll breathe out. Let the silence hold us without doubt. No need for answers, just stay close now. I hear your heart, even when it's not loud. It's quiet between us, just a moment longer. Just a moment, girl. The daylight's barely breaking through the glass. I sit here tracing circles on the table again, caught in the pause before the morning starts. My mind drifts where your name was said but never pinned. The silence lingers longer here, it seems. Breath held tight between what is and what's been. Did I ever say enough? Did I ever say enough? When you turned and walked away, did I ever say enough? Ooh. Or did my quiet hold too much? You left your sweater folded by the door. I pick it up, but don't remember why I came. So many times wishing I had shown, but memory fades gentle in the autumn rain. The echo of your laughter fills the space, right where the coffee cooled but never stayed. Did I ever say enough? Did I ever say enough? Looking back at all our days, did I ever say enough? If silence is the cost of love, there's a moment in the night where the questions rise and fall. If I held on a little tighter, would I have answered them at all? Did I ever say enough? Did I ever say enough? While the distance pulled us far, did I ever say enough? Or did I let the quiet win too much? say enough? Did I ever say enough? When the time slipped through my hands, did I ever say enough? Ooh, I'm still asking in the hush, did I ever say enough? Evening falls again, the old street is quiet. Children's laughter just distant in the wind. My pen drags through the page, heavy with someone else's memories. Your jacket dries by the window, never moved from where you left it. Sometimes I hear your voice in the hush before rain. Sometimes I feel your weight in what is missing. I write it down, how you faced the world, gentle in the storm. How your kindness held the light, even if your hands trembled. And outside, the monsoon passing brings silence I carry, not mine, but the hush you left behind. Rice fields past the houses, all bent beneath gray sky. I watch from the sill, my heart holding your wishes. Some lives grow quietly, never notice till they're gone. And I trace you leaving, but the words don't sound like goodbye. I remember only the softest part of letting go, the gentle let go where you stay. Well, days go by, rain comes and leaves, and I keep learning how absence is more than loneliness. The smells of your soap in the air. I write not for myself, but for the shame you left here. I write it down, how you faced the world, gentle in the storm. How your kindness held the light, even if your hands tremble. And outside, the monsoon passing brings silence I carry, not mine, but the hush you left behind. No fancy words, just quiet in your name. Sitting on the warm grass, knees drawn close, watching how the cold air moves across your face. You sit beside me, don't say a word, and still I hear you say stay. Across the miles, the car between. This is the breath between, the breath between. Holding you, holding me, and the breath between. 10 times I'll say it, breath between. Breathe again. Breath between clouds, breath between rain, breath between, it's the same. Yourself in, you said the winds are changing, but I don't feel them yet. My fingers search for yours, find only space and silence. If you ever wondered what I meant by staying, you'd find it in the breath between. Maybe this quiet is the answer. Maybe it's all it is. A veces pienso en no hay regreso, que el aire solo es testigo fiel. Lo repito, de cada palabra está el suspiro que nunca se irá. We carried our sorrow in both hands. We found peace in the hush between sounds. I keep asking myself if you can hear me, but you always reply in the breath between. This is the breath between, the breath between. Holding you, holding me, in the breath between. 10 times I'll say it, breath between. Breathe again. Breath between clouds, breathe between rain, breath between, it's the same. And if you're gonna stay right here, counting the breath between us, wherever you are, breath between, breath between. There's a bench beneath a leaning tree. I sit here, elbows pressed against my knees, listening for answers in the quiet drift. Leaves circle slow, catching breath with the wind, noticing how the air has changed. A shoe scuffs the earth, but I don't stand up, not yet. I remembered coming here for comfort, not knowing what I needed, only hoping the air could teach me how to stay. And I wait for the hush to say it's safe, and I tell myself I'll go if the wind dies down. But I wait, still here, still waiting out the wind. The sound of cars drifting from the distance, each pause a question I pretend to answer. Pavement cooling, blade is grass pressed flat. My jacket collar tucked up and up high. My jacket cocked up and up and up high. Counting patterns in fading sunlight. Again, again, again. Old gum stuck on the bench. Initials carved deep. I listen to each gust, willing it to carry something new. No words. And I'll wait for the hush to say it's safe. And I tell myself I'll go if the wind dies down. But I'll wait, still here, still waiting out the wind. What do I take with me when I stand? Is it enough to want or enough to leave? The wind rattles through broken branches. I breathe out, hoping no one asks why. And I wait for the hush to say it's safe. And I tell myself I'll go if the wind dies down. And I'll wait, still here, still waiting, still here, sheltered from the wind. Pale fields stretch beyond the fence. Clouds move slow, the day relents. Is this how the world begins to turn? A single weathered feather pressed in dirt drifts away before I find my words. Did you ever wonder where quiet starts? The grass leans with longing, each blade bends, never breaking. Why does the wind stay rattling the line? Why does the wind stay underlined? The places I wait, the spaces I keep. Why does the wind stay? Does it ever sleep? The question may echo repeats. The silence between. What does it mean? Why does the wind stay? 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 Thistles humming at the hollow gate. I measured each step with faith. If everything passes through, what stays behind? The tin cup swings from the porch chain. Each gust brings winter, each breeze pain. Not every answer is earned or kind. Silver leaves curl inside my hand. How much can you hold before you understand? Why does the wind stay tangled in white? Why does the wind stay never tight? The questions I raise, the silence I keep. Why does the wind stay? Does it ever sleep? Why does the echo and the echo repeats? Why does the spaces between? What that doesn't mean. Why does the wind stay? Why does the wind stay? Does the wind stay? Why does the wind stay? Why does the wind stay? I wait for change, but the sky doesn't bend. The wind clings, refusing to end. Why does the wind stay? Why does the wind stay whispering through? Why does the wind stay just for you? Why does the wind stay? Why does the wind stay? Why does the wind stay? It's been years, I barely notice how I keep finding pieces of us in odd places. My jacket pocket, some half-used receipt. Don't know why I save these scraps, or why I still wanna say something. Always meant to call, but I kept moving. The silence gets louder when I pretend it never happened. Not sure if you think of me, or if I'm nobody now. Nothing left but fragments and the chill between the windows. So far, we're only inches apart. Wish I could curse you, but I'll just call it art. All the dumb shit I let slip, the times I folded, saying nothing and everything just to avoid I felt. If you ever felt like running, you did. I only stood in the doorway, waving, not knowing if goodbye was permanent. Never asked why, just made up answers. You made it easy to miss you the hard way. Could tell you I'm fine, but that's just bullshit. You know me too well for life. And it's easier than facing the noise of talking for real. So far, we're only inches apart. Wish I could curse you, but I'll just call it art. Said something wrong, but I'm still stuck in the pause right after your name. Fuck, I could reach out, but maybe that's all I do.
Late at night, my hands shake as I unfold another page of my old notebook, streaked in blue. Words I wrote years ago, trying to sound brave. Did I ever think I'd make it past those days? Breathing in the dust, remembering the taste of hope. Through the silence in the room, I hear me calling. Afraid but reaching out, not sure what I'd find. If I could speak to the kid inside, tell him it's okay, it's alright, would he listen to the quiet voice begging him not to ask? For the corners mark the things we never say. Would he understand the weight I've carried all this way? Soft piano in the empty end is pressing on every line, looking for the shape of comfort. I had you in my mind. I was running from myself, leaving truth behind, tracing faded letters, wondering who I'd find. Did I ever feel the wind, the push and pull of fear? Or did I close the window until it disappeared? If I could speak to the kid inside, tell him it's okay, it's alright, would he lift his head and try to trust when sadness feels like rain? For the corners mark the things we never say. Would he understand the weight I've carried all this way? Pages torn and healing, and in the echo it's the gentleness that grew. If I could speak to the kid inside, tell him it's okay, it's alright, would he listen when forgiveness finally tried? I'll stay on this part, the things we never said. Would he understand the weight I've carried all this way? Soft piano, gentle strings, the words I never spoke. I turn another page and finally let him know.
It's quiet here, something's burning inside my chest, a weight I've learned to carry gently, no point in hiding. I bite my tongue, but the pain still returns. Some words are lost in the silence. I'm here alone, counting what I've lost. It isn't rage, just a bitter aching. I keep it close, but I'm paying the cost. All these thoughts won't settle down, like dust that won't leave the air. I'm angry, but it's quiet, like a storm behind my eyes. It's not shouting, just the sadness that I'm learning to disguise. It's not thunder, not a warning, you might miss it if you try. But I promise, underneath it, I am raging just inside. I hoped I learned to just forgive it, all the pieces time has chipped away. But anger sits like gentle strangers, waiting for the right words to say. All these thoughts won't settle down, like dust that won't leave the air. I'm angry, but it's quiet, like a storm behind my eyes. It's not shouting, just the I'm learning to disguise. It's not thunder, you might miss it if you try, but I promise underneath it I am raging just inside. Let it go, let it pass, but it stays when I close my eyes. You might never see it crash, but it lives where the silence lies. I'm angry but it's quiet, like a storm behind my eyes. It's not shouting, just a sadness that I'm learning to disguise. It's not thunder, not a warning, you might miss it if you try, but I promise underneath it I am raging just inside. If you listen in the silence, you might hear the quiet storm. Still I hold it soft and hidden, where it's safe as I am home. Still raging just inside.
Dawn morning cold ground, a breath held not spoken of. You look away, same as always, just nod or let it pass. It's raining again, not sure if you mind. Can't tell where it started, did you notice, did you try? I speak, you don't answer. I speak, you still don't answer. I speak, you don't answer again. I speak, you don't answer. So I keep talking, talking to you, still talking even when you keep quiet, keep quiet. So I keep talking, talking to you, repeat it in vain, repeat it once you hear me, maybe once you hear your hands on the table, motionless waiting, silent air between us, light shifting, never spoken. Should I call it out, should I let it fall? Not angry, not alright, not angry, not alright. Never answer, never try. I speak, you don't answer. I speak, you don't answer again. I speak, you don't answer again. I speak, you don't answer. So I keep talking, talking to you, still talking even when you keep quiet, keep quiet. So I keep talking, talking to you, repeating one thing, repeat it once you're here, baby, once you're here. Still moving, you're staring at the floor, small words skipping past. I keep talking, talking, keep talking, talking, even quiet, quiet. So I keep talking, talking to you. Baby, won't you hear me? Baby, won't you hear me?
This faded photograph folded in my palm, your signature there in the corner, curling with time. Dust falls in the quiet of my Sunday afternoon. I trace your writing as if the meaning might return. Clouds drift past the window unresolved, your laughter caught somewhere between then and now. I keep the things you left behind, half-written notes, a button from your coat, threadbare and small like the promises we made. I hold them close but they're not you, just fragile keepsakes I give away. There's a scarf you outgrew, still faint with your scent. Letters started, never finished, sentences trailing on. A song you loved, playing softly on the stereo. Each artifact await in a hush in my chest. Rain on the rooftop, steady and slow. Your absence presses in, softer than before. I keep the things you left behind, half-written notes, a button from your coat, threadbare and small like the promises we made. I hold them close but they're not you, just fragile keepsakes I can't give away. Somewhere you're searching for your own peace. Maybe you remember the things we let go. I gather these relics one by one, pretending it's enough, though I know it's just my own way of holding on. I keep the things you left behind, half-written notes, a button from your coat, threadbare and small like the promises we made. I hold them close but they're not you, just fragile keeps I can't. Gentle vocalization, suns fall, cold. Half-light filtered in through old pine, breath hung quiet between us. Footprints pressed in thawing mud, stray branches scraping my sleeve. Sparrows circling overhead, your words biting at the chill. Something waiting in your silence, but I turn away, walk further uphill. Why does the cold break open my chest? Is it mine to carry all that you left? If I took every long sigh, built a fire from broken wood, would it burn off the fall or swallow me whole? You don't say you're angry, but your eyes are kindling as ash rising with each step I take. I feel the wind changing. You never shout, but your anger's a storm, silent and steady and aching. Knuckles white around your jacket, still sap staining the palm of your glove. Distance grown wild in quiet spaces, frost catching light on your brow. I offer something just a half phrase, but you let it fall on the ground. Words don't echo our old laughter. The hush now, heavy, profound. Why do I keep coming back to these trails? Thorns in my socks, sharp words in the shade. If I built a fire from every regret, the path back home, would we find the warmth we lost, or watch it drift into smoke? We hold back the thunder, I hear it in branches. The ache of what is inside hangs in the air, breaking. You never shout, but your anger's a storm, closing the distance with silence. All the rivers are swollen with spring, no way to cross without soaking. Soft light on the wooden floor, quiet breath in an open door. Back when nothing felt broken, back when words came easier, back when tomorrow felt wide, never thinking of falling behind. Oh, wish you could see, oh, wish you could be, oh, wish you could know, oh, wish you could hear. Hold on to that kindness, hold on to small things. You were tracing lines in the margin, you were dreaming of somewhere far. You were hoping for someone to listen. You were sure you would always be strong. I wish you could see, I wish you could be, I wish you could know, I wish you could hear. Hold on to that kindness, hold on to small things. How was you barely knowing? How was you quietly growing? How was you waiting for meaning? How was you scared to let go?
Now I reach through faded time. Now I wonder what you tell me. Now I write hoping you'll find. I wish you could see, I wish you could be, I wish you could know, I wish you could hear. Hold on to that curse, hold on to small things.
Soft light as the day gets older, quiet breath as the pages turn.
Old shoes by the doorway, thin air, worn step. Someone's name stays quiet. Books stacked, half read. Turns out I never say much. You just wait, let me spill ash on the window sill. Holding a breath I can't let go. No thunder, just the sound of leaving. You nod and I close the door slow. Soft light on the counter, one plate long gone. I count the reasons backwards why you won't answer at dawn. Turns out a circle around it, no words, just the space I fill. Ash on the windowsill, holding a breath I can't let go. No thunder, just the sound of leaving. You nod and I close the door slow. If I talked louder, would you push back? Would you care? But it's quieter than anger now, just the hush in the air. Your jacket left on my chair. Everything waits, everything lingers. If I reach for what's missing, I scrape myself on splinters. Ash on the windowsill, holding a breath I can't let go. No thunder, just the sound of leaving. You nod and I close the door slow. Old shoes by the doorway, soft light on the counter. Ash settling, nowhere to go. light footsteps fading down the hallway. We speak in glances, tracing circles on the table. Hands folded, careful not to say too much. Something unspoken shivers in the air. Small movements, not quite touching. A sigh wrapped in distant thunder outside. Come closer, just enough for the air to change. Hold the hush between us, don't break the gentle calm. No words for the question lingering here, just the echo of a smile that says maybe. The world outside dims, night pressing at the window. Your eyes linger longer, searching for clues. I watch the way you reach for your favorite book, pausing, waiting, almost hoping I will last. This moment balanced, barely breathing. Raindrops beginning on glass, soft and slow. Promises tangled in the quiet falling rain. Come closer, just enough for the air to change. Hold the hush between us, don't break the gentle calm. No words for the question lingering here, just the echo of a smile that says maybe. Is it always this fragile right before something begins? Unsteady as footsteps in a memory. Time bends softly, carrying us farther than we meant. Come close enough for the air to change. Hold the hush between us, don't break the gentle calm. No words for the question lingering here, just the echo of a smile that says maybe. Piano lingers, strings swell then fade. A gentle wind through the open window. We remain in the quiet invitation.
Cold feet resting on your sleeve. Breath in the chill, it's enough. Just leaning in. Bare traces on skin. Never said what I meant, not yet. Space between hours held quiet. You only hear the air, color drawn from what isn't there. But I remember the warmth in the absolute weakest light, holding on with nothing to prove, settling into the silent hours with you. Nothing left to say, just the shape of us. Carry it away through this cold, this hush. Sometimes I reach for you in the middle of conversation.
Your hand unmoving, gentler than morning invisible lake. Frost painted all soft as goodbyes never spoken. Is there something I miss in the comfort of all this? I remember the warmth in the absolute weakest light, holding on with nothing to prove, settling into the silent hours with you. Nothing left to say, just the shape of us carried away through this coldness. Slow breath, not quite together. Your name just out of reach. If time froze in these quiet rooms, would you know by my trembling hands? Absolute weakest light, holding on with nothing to prove, settling into the silent hours with you. Nothing left to say, just the shape of us carry it away through this cold, this hush. Watch you breathing in the quiet, silence settles, subtle sighs spin. Sun slips behind wide white blinds. Your shoulders sink, stillness begins. Light falls across the linens thin. The hush of air I'm holding in. You never notice how the moment stays. Every inhale, how it gently waves. Is it the breath between us, bound by a gentle hush? Almost nothing, yet far too much. A space we never discuss, air that moves never rushed. What I feel, you don't touch. Faint flutter of hands as you gesture, softly searching for some place to rest. Fingers fold, fall flat, then linger, each calm cadence pressed to your chest. I trace the slow rhythm, I guess. Time slows, it tells me the rest. You never notice what the quiet brings.
every shiver in the whispering. It's just a breath between us, bound by a gentle hush. Almost nothing, and yet far too much. A space we never discuss, air that moves, never rushed. What I feel, we don't touch. All the words I say, float away so faint. Only air remains, always in the space. Still it's the breath between us, bound by a gentle hush. Almost nothing, yet far too much. A space we never discuss, air that moves, never rushed. What